everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Sidetrack Larry, and I hope y'all are doing good. Today, we're going to be talking about Evil West. I'm going to start off by saying Evil West is a game based off of steampunk and horror genre, and it actually combines itself into what looks like an amalgamation of Western as well, which very kind of describes it that it's going to be and it describes itself as an action adventure and something that's going to be impactful. It's going to be very challenging and fun. That's what it promotes itself as. But I have other views on this. So, we're going to start off with what it failed at. I think it failed at how the story was told. I genuinely feel that it was just, the story just wasn't told properly. I think that if they just gave it a bit more effort and a bit more feeling, I think then that would have made the story better. But I as it stands now, how they told the story, not saying the story itself is bad, I'm saying the story is how it's told is done poorly, and that's just my opinion. I also believe with the story element that it's way too linear. I genuinely believe that the story could have been told way better. I think that it could have been more open-ended. I think there could have been more dialogue done with certain characters, like the main character Jesse. He just doesn't did a lot of talking, and when he does, it's more of just grunting, saying one or two lines, and I think the longest I ever heard him speak was in the cutscene, and it just didn't do too much. I think that when all the documents you have to read throughout the game where you're being told that's read to you, I think that's very amazing. I think it's nice, but I think that would be more important that after being read, I think that it could element the fact that they should add, like, Jesse's response. Like, a good point is when he finds a letter from his father and describes how much he loved him dearly. I would have loved to hear of Jesse just going, damn, I wish I would have known my dad really didn't feel this. And it felt that it was just a bit lackluster when it came to that. I do believe, though, that it could have done better. Another point coming up is enemies. I genuinely do not like the amount of enemies that were thrown in the game. I love the enemies. I love how they were used. I like a lot of it, but it's just there's too many in one fight. When you're trying to fight one or two, like, like big enemies, that's fine. But when it comes to fighting 5 big enemies, 3 bosses, sorry, not 3, 2 bosses, and a ton of grunts, all at fucking once. They got these little bomb fuckers that throw little bombs out. It's maddening. It drives me up my wall. I think it just needs work. I think that needs to be something better. I think it's just something that needs to be fixed. Not in this game, but in a different game. Just fix that mechanic. It would be so much better. It would work so much well. It's just too hectic for one thing. It's so fucking annoying to just be jumped by hordes of enemies. Just tons of them. It's fucking baffling how annoying this shit is. But that does not take away from how fun it was at points. It did make it annoying to have to fight one group of bosses and then a second group of bosses, and just it was a fucking drudge to do some of the fucking fights, and it just felt lacking when it came to like how the enemies were used. That's what it felt like. The enemies, how they were used, felt lacking. Not the enemies themselves or the arenas. It was how they were used. How they just took all these enemies and threw them at you and said, here you go, fight. And it felt a little sloppy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a game maker, I'm not a game developer, and all things, but I've played enough video games to know that it does take a lot of time to do this. But I think they could have went about a different approach. I think they could have made the guns weaker, or they could have done something in the lines of just making the guns feel making the enemies feel different and how you fight them. Because it felt like a beat 'em up. It felt like one. It was nice, but it just, the amount of enemies just drove me nuts. And I guess that's probably my personal preference, but I think there were just too many enemies. That was just me though. What the game succeeded at, I can tell you this: the weapons. It succeeded so well on these fucking weapons. My God, the grenades, the Gatling gun, the flamethrower, the revolver, the rifle, the crossbow. My fucking God. And you're just your fists, bro. This shit was so cool. You could kill so many fucking things at once. It was Combo City. It was so fucking fun. I love that part. It was so fun. The way you get to fight enemies. I gotta give it that. With the amount of enemies, it was fun as shit to just beat the absolute fuck out of all these fucking grunts, just all the time. Just boom, 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 boom. Bro, you could kick combos off that were crazy as shit. My God, and the upgrade system for these fucking guns was just amazing. It felt so smooth. It felt fluent. It was just, fantastic. Fantastic. That's what I enjoyed with the guns. Fantastic. Just amazing. Perfect. Keep that. It is fucking great. Also, the variety in combat, the variety of enemies, the variety of combat. We'll go with combat first because I was just talking about that. The combat felt so open. It felt so fresh. It doesn't feel like all normal third person like Gears of War. It felt how Gears of War used to feel. How you would just be carrying a fucking arsenal of bullets, arsenal of weaponry. You just fucking up all these enemies. It was fantastic. It was something you could be proud of, to be fucking monstrous. And the way it was portrayed was fucking glorious. It was perfect. It was amazing in that aspect. The combat variety felt amazing. No gun felt lackluster. Maybe the revolver felt lackluster, but maybe it's just me because I didn't use it that much. I tried to, didn't get into it. Much prefer the fists. But I did love the rifle, love the crossbow, the flamethrower, the Gatling gun. Even though you didn't get the Gatling gun until near the end of the game, it was still fan-fucking-tastic. Still fantastic. It was so fun to use that fucking thing because it fucked bosses up. Just fuck you, stun lock, and it could get the boss behind him. It was fucking fantastic. Crispy. I genuinely believe that was a great part, and I think it needs to be kept. Now, what I think could be added to this game is more freedom. I genuinely believe that there should be more freedom to the game instead of so linear. Because when I was playing it, it felt like it was pulling me in one direction. I understand it's a story game. This is the game that they put out first. This is a game that they put out and they wanted to put some effort in. I understand. But this game, it deserved more openness. I don't know, maybe it's because this is the first of the series and it'll get changed, and I hope it does. They left on a cliffhanger. There better be an EVILWEST 2, and it'll top this one. Top it. Because you can. It's a medium game for a medium medium playthrough. It's good. It's a good game. That's just a part of it. It's a fantastic game that needs more. It needed more. Not more monsters or enemies. It needed more substance. That's the best word. Substance. It needed best substance with storytelling. Because the game told the story, but it didn't tell it compellingly. I didn't feel pulled in. Get the voice actors to put some oomph into what they're saying. Like when they say, "Oh my God, there's a monster." Have the voice actor screaming, "There's a monster." Freak the fuck out. Have a fucking panic. Have them ranting and raving, going nuts. But that's what I felt like. That's why I wanted in. That's what one of the characters was. It's the Assistant Secretary of Defense. That dude, he had the effort. Keep that voice actor. He had some effort. He put the effort in. I like that one. I like that one. Keep that man. He's good. He's good. Keep him. If you're gonna make him do a villain, do it. But just keep him, or keep the voice actor, or have the voice actors mimic him in the effort they're putting in the effort. I want the effort to be put in. Because that's just how the game should look. It should run smooth as shit, which it did. Thank God I'm not running on a great PC, guys, so take my word for it. They put the effort in, and it works great. It's a fantastic game. Fantastic. I'm not being paid by the company. I am a nobody. This game ran perfect on my PC. My PC is not extreme PC. It is a budget build. My PC's max amount pay on it was like on $930. $930 is what I paid for my PC. It is not a game. It is a gaming PC for budget. But this game deserves the good that it gets. And I think it really did. And last thing they come home with, what could they add? I think the replayability. I know they added New Game Plus, and that may sound like, oh, well, you're not going to play that? Well, no. Because I played one playthrough, and I think that's enough. Because the game was worth the first playthrough. It was very fun. It was fun. It was engaging at points. And it just kept my attention until the very end, and that's when it stopped. Once I finished it, I was like, I beat the game. I like it. And that's pretty much how I felt with it. Maybe call me a bit of a biased person because I didn't play it, but the New Game Plus, but it didn't feel like I needed to. There was nothing I wanted to unlock that bad. There was nothing like that. That's what I felt it lost. It lost replayability. Because I liked the linear story in a way, but I hated the fact that the gameplay was linear and where you go. That's what I felt it lacked. And linear playing of the game, but open combat. That's what felt weird to me. But yeah. In my personal opinion, this game is fantastic. This game is a very good game. I think that it's deserved at least one playthrough. I do not think it's worth the price at the moment. It is. Let me pull up how much it is. EVILWEST store page. View. Okay, so EVILWEST is not worth $49.99. It is not worth It is not worth that. It is worth $29.99 or maybe $30.99. No, not even that. No, it's worth $29.99 or $25.99. But it does not need that price tag. It's a bit too expensive. I do not believe that it deserves that price tag, and I don't think it's earned it. I think that it's earned a cheaper price tag, but at keeping it honest, and I like that. I like that the fact they kept itself honest with their advertising, and they were truthful to what they did. But I do not believe it's worth that price tag. Lower it down to $25 or $29.99, and then maybe it hits a good goal. But now we're coming up on the end of the video, and I actually want to talk to you about something. So, when it comes to it, I do my ratings of 5s out of 5s, right? 5 out of 5, right? So here's my criteria for rating. Is the story compelling? Does it engage me? Does it pull me in? I'm invested. I want the lore. Does the story feel well done? Does it feel thought out? Does it feel methodical? Does it feel like it was worth the time I spent to play the game? Is the gameplay fun? Is it engaging? Do I get freedom to do as I please and go looking around for like all types of Easter eggs and collectibles? Is the combat good? Does it make it feel like when I'm fighting, I'm like in the combat, I'm fucking these creatures up? And lastly, is the replayability worth a damn? Am I going to replay this a couple times so I can get everything that I didn't get in the first playthrough, or make different decisions that I did get in the second playthrough I didn't do in the first playthrough? Sorry, that's what I meant. This has 3 of my favorite things. Okay? So the combat is fucking fantastic. Fantastic. The story itself is good. The story is good. And yeah, the lore is fantastic. Why am I blanking on what I just said? Like, I just said it. Alright, so, it's gotten 2, but there's one... It's not worth replayability. But it does get half a point to me for putting Machete in there. Now that wasn't on the criteria, but it gets half a point for that. It put that motherfucker in here. I love it. I love that part. Machete, you're cool as shit. If you ever see this, because you probably won't, but if whoever watches this, Machete's fantastic. Play that damn game with it. I can tell you this, it gets a 2.5 out of 5. And if you know what that means, it's even Stevens. So, what does that mean? I recommend this for one play. Do not recommend it after that. I recommend this for one playthrough. If you really want to get into it and read the lore, go ahead, find the collectibles. But to me, wasn't worth that. I think it was worth one playthrough. Have a good time. And I think that's really what it was worth. Anywho, I'm rambling on. My name is Sidetrack Larry. I hope you all have a lovely day. Stay safe, stay cool, stay classy. Peace out.